Well, insurers are warning of increased vehicle theft. That's no real surprise, obviously. Old Mutual, though, has come out and says it's experiencing an increase in claims, especially for bakkies and luxury vehicles. Theft and hijacking have been on the rise, especially in Gauteng and KwaZulu-Natal. Let's find out why that's the case and what can we possibly do about this. Elite Risk MD Tarina Vlok joining us this morning. Hello to you, Tarina. And just to clarify as well, so you're the MD of Elite Risk. I know we spoke about this off air, but just so everyone's in the loop here, so we understand we're talking about the same company. You're involved with Old Mutual Insure and Old Mutual. You're a subsidiary of Old Mutual. That's correct.
That is correct.
Okay,
yes,
wonderful. Just so we can make sure that viewers understand why we're talking to Elite Risk. So why are we seeing this jump suddenly? Is this out of the blue or has this been a pattern for some time? Good morning.
Yes, we've seen this trend, increasing trend in vehicle theft since around the beginning of 2021. It's also reflected in the crime statistics, and our claims experience is fully aligned to that, with the increase in the thefts, as well as the increase in, as well as the certain areas where the theft occurs.
So when we talk about, we talk about high-end vehicles, I just want to be clear, what kind of high-end vehicles are we talking about? Because we were showing, for example, visuals of a Rolls-Royce. Are we talking about elite high-end vehicles or just vehicles over R500,000?
Yes, it's mostly, we haven't seen yet that these luxury vehicles are being stolen. There are certain makes and models of vehicles that are particularly vulnerable to theft. These have been widely publicized. I don't want to go into the specific makes and models at the moment, but they, especially if they have keyless entry, they have a vulnerability.
Yeah, we've seen the keyless entry being a bit of an issue. We've done stories on that on this channel. Also, I know other networks have done it. This keyless entry, bit of a problem, very easy to seemingly use these computers. So you're right. I think people will know the issue with keyless entry. But I also see that a lot of it has to do with tracking devices. I was about to ask you, because Elite Risk and Insurance, of course, they're always going to ask about tracking devices. Are they still worth it? Do they still prevent hijackings and theft, or are they kind of losing their efficacy?
They are becoming increasingly less effective, but it's still better than having nothing. We've had instances where a vehicle was stolen, broad daylight, and with a tracking device, and within minutes this thing was removed. But that is why a lot of insurers start insisting on two of these devices being installed, just to make sure that there's a backup. We are asking for early warning devices in certain makes and models, and also in these higher risk areas. We don't insist on two tracking devices yet. You know, we must work together with clients, vehicle manufacturers, and the insurers to ensure that we make it as difficult as possible for these vehicles to be stolen.
Help me understand, just add some meat to the bone there for me, Tarina, when you talk about early warning devices. I think most people watching will know what the tracking devices do. You pay a monthly subscription, some come with a panic button in the car, some come with an app, but hopefully they can find your car or what's left of it after if it does get stolen. But what is an early warning device? I'm afraid that's new to me. Just explain that to me if you don't mind. What is that?
So an early warning device has a, sorry, I need to refer to my notes here just so I give you the correct information. They have an auto arm proximity tag, which is required to be at the vehicle, in proximity of the vehicle, if the vehicle is started. And if that specific tag is not present, an alarm will be set off at the tracking device, tracking company, which will mean that they can respond immediately without the criminals even knowing that it's been activated.
This almost sounds like, to those who used to drive older cars back in our younger days, it's like the old immobilizers, basically. It's a new, fancier version of that. The car won't start unless you've got the immobilizer with you. Now it's called an auto arm proximity tag. So as the MD of Elite Risk, Tarina, I just want to make sure that we're talking to the right audience here. So I did ask earlier, I know you didn't want to name certain brands of cars, but you are welcome to, of course. It is important information. But as the MD of Elite Risk, what kind of vehicles are you insisting or asking that your clients put these early warning devices in? Just give me some names. Are we talking about Lamborghinis, Ferraris, or are we talking about the run-of-the-mill Audi and BMW and Mercedes-Benz?
Right, so the most vulnerable vehicle brand that we've seen, not all models, but is Toyota. And, some of these Hilux, bakkies, and Land Cruisers are extremely expensive vehicles. So those are the types of brands of vehicles that we require installation of a tracking device. No, again, in the high-risk areas, no matter what the value of the vehicle is. At Elite, we require installation of a tracking device for any make and model of vehicle with a value of 1.5 million or more.
And so it has got a geographic reasoning, also financial reasoning. So 1.5 million and over. If you're part of Elite Risk, it looks like you have to have these tracking devices. Do they have to have the early warning device as well as a tracking device, Tarina?
No, not on the high-valued vehicles. It's just the early warning tracking device that we require on the high-risk vehicles.
Okay, so it's the high-risk vehicles. Okay, that makes more sense. So that's new. I must be honest, I thought I knew a bit about tracking devices and how they all worked, etc., but it looks like early warning devices are the way to go now as well. Tarina, thank you very much indeed for your time.